Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. Well, the markets made clear that choice that I was putting out there yesterday in the update as to whether we were actually done with minor wave 4 and that we were going to start entering a third wave up. I had left that open, and that's actually the choice. Now, the alternate, which I actually was showing on the screen at the time, was that minor wave 4 was still in progress. And therefore, we had an A and a B, and we were looking for a C wave down, likely to bring us pretty much back towards 43.68, a little bit lower, since it would have ended up being a flat corrective move. Now, that not being the case, since we actually did finally break cleanly above the minor third high, but then also what I had marked as minute wave 1, broke above that high, broke above resistance at 44.91, broke above resistance at 45.03, I believe it was, and also broke above resistance at 45.13, which goes along with the minor fifth wave. So we seem to be well on our way, but we stalled out, now having trouble just getting back up through that 45.13 resistance level. So again, it's a strange market. It's a strange pattern, and it's hopefully going to be turning into what should end up being a diagonal fifth wave. But we need to start, the way that that's actually going to form, in my mind, would be that we continue to just launch in this third. And in fact, we just keep going basically vertical to get that going, and then to get this going to the upside to form that wedge that we are going to need to see. And yet too early to start putting that into place as to where all of this might end up. But I will share with you that if we get wave 3, and it even is going to come in at 100%, right? That equals wave 1, which would be acceptable, would be 45.40.71 or 45.41. Anything above that just makes wave 3 the longest out of 1 and 3. So we still, but reflecting back on that rule, once that's put in place, then if wave 5 is going to be the extended wave, then it would not leave wave 3 as the smallest. And so that is actually the rule. The rule is that wave 3 cannot be the smallest wave out of waves 1, 3, and 5 in an impulse sequence. And so that would take care of that, get it a little bit above that, turn into the longest, and then maybe be finished and then come into a fourth, and then we get a fifth wave up. Now, where can this all finish? I continue to look at this minor wave 5 being the equality, where minor wave 5 would be equal to minor wave 1. So when we're comparing fifth waves to first waves, the first fib relationship that is most common is equality. That at the moment has continuously sat at 46.03. Now, for the longest time, we thought, oh, it's just not going to, it doesn't have the strength to break back solidly above 4,500. Well, we did. We're closing above it, which puts a little bit more support to it actually occurring. So I'm going to stick with that. I believe that this is going to be the zone. And what will be continuing to add as we all progress is there might be some in between. Once we get wave 3 done, we get a 4, and then we can get a 5, and we can mark it all up there. Now, again, all of these have to be 3-wave affairs. Wave 1, pretty much, I can count it as either a 5 or a 3, but I made a lot of discussion that it's like, no, it's clearly a 3. That's like, fine, but understand that I took it down. I would not put a 1 on there and call it a 5-wave structure unless I got down and could prove it, and I did. So in any case, we'll leave it as a 3, and this is also A, B, C down for a 3 for wave 2. And thus far, a little bit tough to kind of say where we're going to get a B wave. So maybe we get it now, and then finish up with another 5. So in other words, we get a 5-3-5, but it does turn into that and not into its own larger 5-wave structure. So I'm looking for that. So we'll see with how this all pans out. Right now, let me open this up and let me go like this so I can get a little bit cleaner picture. So what we're really kind of looking for in here is if we got a 1, 2, and then we got a bunch of junk, and that was the top of 3 maybe. So we get an ABC maybe. Where can this B wave come back in? Well, there's a couple of things we could try to put on. We're going to put like fibs there. So if it comes back down 44.91, which puts us right at the 20 right now, the hourly 20, 44.81, 44.71. So 618, I mean, they all would fit. And then still would leave open the potential that we're going to rally again. So right now, I'll pull back. That kind of made a mention that it was going to happen here. So this kind of looks like A, B. We're going to start, but they're pushing it higher in that after hour. We'll see what happens from here. If we continue to rally and we, of course, break 45.24, then we're heading up, and we're likely then going to 45.40, and then we have above that 45.56. Those are our resistance levels. This one would be for the minute third wave. This outside is the, I believe it was the C wave. No, excuse me, the minor wave 5. Right, minor wave 5, and then the 100% at 45.56 is where intermediate wave C would be equal to intermediate wave A. So again, C equals A, very common, has continually pointed to 45.56, so that's why it remains there. And then we have minor 5 coming in at 46.03. Then this additional level is associated with the third wave. So it can't be that strong in terms of if wave 3 is going to be over and we're in a 4, then that comes down. That's there because it's a part of what could end up being an extended third. But here we are again. We're going to be having to draw our diagonal. And so it's actually not coming out real clean. So it may not be a diagonal. I'm telling you, it's got to form. And right now, yep, I can count that as a 3, but it also counts, well, as a 5. You have to break it down to the 15-minute chart so that you can take a look at what is, and I can't even do that because I have to go back. Let me go down to my 30-minute chart, see if I can go back. And I can't even get all of it there. But you get it in here and you can see it. I can see, we had a 4 and then the 5. So it all kind of works out. It was quick. It was, not clean, but then again, the moves have been very erratic and not super clean to begin with. So in any case, I'm basically just looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's just going to be a straight 5 waves, not necessarily diagonal, again, waiting for that to form and to show its stuff, then we will count it accordingly. But right now, it's still even seemingly, we got 1, 2, and then we get a bunch of the third up to here. If this turns into a 4, we get a 5, and it's a clean 5. Would that be A of 3? And then we get another, a B and a C. So you see how I can only stretch it so far, but I'm continuing to include it as the possibility. Right now, well, questionable. We're waiting to see how this all develops here within the third. We know it has to begin to form that diagonal, the triangle, the wedge. So once 3's over, I'll be able to connect the top, and then I have the bottom that I'm going to be able to connect as well. And right now, it would be very steep, a very steep diagonal. But in a 5th wave position, it would fit very cleanly. Let me say that. Moving average is all now supportive again. We've got everybody back above the 200s here, at least on the hourly chart. So all is good in the world there. As you can see, we kind of cut across. The 50 came and cut across. The 20 did yesterday and then during Globex, and now is just pointing strongly higher after today's solid rally, strongly higher, and that got kicked off by the reaction to the CPI number. Tomorrow we have PPI. We're going to have the same reaction. We'll be done with wave 3. So, and then we look for a pullback and another little rise, and maybe that's it. So again, day by day is how I'm going to take it right now. So where the 3 is done here and looking for a 4, so then the internal third, if that's the case, here are our support levels coming off. I'm going to leave those on. Basically, let me clean it up just a tad, because there's a lot of them that just no longer are applicable to the move. And that one could be. That one wouldn't be, and one wouldn't work. But we'll leave it up there to show it. And these are no longer. So that would just clean that up. The 382 again, which should be support now, even though it is a 0.618 for the rally. Coming back down, it's sitting right along with 0.382 support. So we've got it right there, a little bit of a double line at 41.91, and right now the 20 is sitting just above it. And we have that 50% of 44.81, 618 at 44.71. So we have 91.81.71, basically, on the way down. That should, in fact, between here and here, should contain a 4th wave. But on the strength of the rally, it may drop, and only it should get to 0.382, which is right here. And in fact, we kind of almost did, but then we almost did again. So it keeps getting caught up in itself and then just kind of launches higher. So again, we'll just keep an eye on that. We know where our levels are, and then we're looking for another rally up. Once wave 4 is in, I would likely be able to put at least minor or a minuet 1, and then connect it to wherever 4 comes in, and then we can get some levels for 5 and maybe fill out some of these blanks as to where we might come in. Over in the NASDAQ, same deal, same story. But the NASDAQ finally here, they had yet to break above that 15,475 level. We finally did it. We actually got up to 15,504. Pretty much right after the opening, and then we just decided to come all the way back down to 15,341. So we dropped over 100 points off of the high, only to finish back up there in that neighborhood and still up 200. So again, we're riding high on the backs of the big magnificent 7, as they're now being called. So we got Apple, we got Amazon, we got Google, we have Metaverse, very strong day today in Meta. And then we have Microsoft doing a nice little recovery. And then we have Netflix, which actually did a nice recovery, NVIDIA. So today's heroes are Metaverse and NVIDIA. Tesla ended up on the day, but off of its highs. So every little bit helps. But I would be looking for a little bit of a pullback. Again, also here in the NASDAQ. And if that's the case, again, here, this is even sloppier. If I have to put this into the ending point for wave 2, it's pretty sloppy, but I tell you, that's what's gonna get marked. So we got the 1 and the 2, wave 4, complete as it was before. I never moved that fib line. All right, for minor wave 5, that's always stayed right in place right there. I did say that this all work out to be an ABC, and see if minor 4 would end up over here somewhere, then I would shift it, because the support zone was actually 14,862 down to 14,853. That was the support zone for the flat corrective phase. Market let us know today, not what's happening. This was a big log jam that I felt, okay, we're going to allow for 1, 2, 1, 2, and a stronger downside. Of course, that didn't come in. Europe rallied. Then we rallied off that number, the CPI number, and that then straightened that back out. Remember, please, and hear me clearly this time, I show via taking the labeling and readjusting the labeling, alternate and preferred counts. There are times when I'll try to explain them and we can get lost because there's a 1 and a 2 here, which I'm telling you that the 4 is not done yet, and this is A and that's B. So there's a lot of things going on in our minds that's not going to accept that. And so when I did move it and I did label A, B, and 1, 2, 1, 2, I get a lot of comments saying, well, you're wrong. And it's like that particular count, yes, got taken care of by the market. But I was showing it as presenting both a preferred and an alternate. And I've tried to make myself clear that the preferred remained this one. So again, I'm just reiterating so that we're not going to get stuck on, oh, well, you're not right, I am, et cetera, because there is no right or wrong. And the market is going to let us know. That's the big thing. It's the market that will let us know. So again, 1, 2, we're in a third. It's very, very difficult, but I could say that this is 1 and this is 2. Right? This is 1 and this is 2. And then 1, 2, 3. We get that 4. And if that's the case, so we got again. So this is 1, this is 2, 1, 2. And this is the third. Let's just take a peek as to if indeed it is. Where can we look for? Well, 382 has already been exceeded twice and recovered twice, and 50% almost got reached. So is there a fair chance that this small 4 is done in the NASDAQ? Yeah, there is. And then again, I would have to concur and say that it's likely also done in the S&P, which would then suggest that we just rally on. But I'm going to leave this here for right now. In fact, you might want to write these down because I'm going to take them off to show you if that is the case, what could we put in or what could we look for in a 5 of 3 type move. And so I'm going to take these off. Again, it's 373, 332. 618 on a wave 4, too much. Although it's not breaking any rules, it just would be too much. So let me take this off. And now put in what, I got to put that, change that over to extensions. So we're just going to put the comparison, which should be, of course, wave 1 to wave 2. Wave 1 to wave 2 comparisons. So I'm going to put that there and move this up to here so it's so low. And you can see 618, we're already way, way beyond that. But 100% is 15,519. 618 is up here at 15,625. That could happen. Right? Then on the larger third wave, where wave 3 would be equal to 1, as at 15,645. So again, wave 5 could be 1.618 of this small wave 1, and that puts us all in the zone to complete neatly, cleanly the minute third wave. Same deal if this is diagonal, we're going to have to start forming it. And so we're looking then to connect the top of wave 3 to the top of wave 1 and wave 2 to a fourth wave. And give us our diagonal, the triangle pinnacle of where all this would match up. And that's kind of where I'm going to leave it. Let's take a quick look. Moving average is not as clean, but they all did start to catch back up and confirm upside, with the 50 crossing back above the 200 and the 20 crossing back above the 200s, and continuing to now point fairly strong to the upside. And that's across the board. We have all of that across the board we can see. So I am going to move these for right now. I would put them back tomorrow. If you're in my trade room, you'll see them. But, we have our levels. A lot of it revolves right around that number, 15,645 for the completion point. So that's suggesting that they might just really like that PPI number that comes out tomorrow. So, and then we're going to roll right into, on Friday, earnings from the banks, and that all comes out pre-market. We never have earnings after the market closes on Fridays. So we're going to get all that pre-market. So we've got a lot coming up, plus Friday expiration, plus. So we're launching second quarter earnings reports, and that all begins on Friday morning. So, but let's see, what do we have? Anything number-wise coming out tomorrow on Thursday? Yes, of course, we have initial jobless claims, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, producer price, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We have at 11:10 a.m., the SF Fed, San Francisco Fed President Daly, doing a TV interview, likely on CNBC or Bloomberg, one or the other. Federal budget comes out at 2 p.m., and then at 6:45 p.m., well after the market is closed, Fed Governor Waller's out there talking somewhere. So the Fed budget, I don't know about that. Not looking very good. But producer price index also expected to increase 0.2%, and the core increase 0.1%. It comes in any better, any worse, that's going to affect the market's reaction to all of that. And that's where I'm going to finish it up for today. Our next update will be on Thursday, July the 13th.